quarter model. And so now my model is automatically generated, and if we look, we can kind of see some of it in both windows. It created my corridor, and it included one template drop. It needs at least one. Now, my mouse is asking me if I want another. And the reason is because we can continue to add more template drops. We can add them all the way up the project. But in this instance, I just want to reflect on the fact that in the first view, we can see some of the line work for our modeling. And yes, it's spaced apart pretty far. If we look in our 3D view, zoom in there, you can see that that model's being generated, and even daylighting to the terrain, so the edges of the grading tying into the ground. Now, I will tell you as a tip, I know the book says do this, Scott, but usually you know what I do? When I'm asked to do a model fast, I basically, when it says, where do you want to start? I hit Alt key, left click. When it says, where do you want to end? Alt key, left click, because I don't care. I'll chop it all up and change every piece. I just want the whole model done right away, and I'll refine it, switch it, flip it, change it, do all the stuff I need to do at that point. For today, there's a reason we're doing it this way. It's so that he spends a lot of time figuring out how to make you guys go through like this physical fitness course of like, did they touch every button on every way of doing it? Which is pretty cool. I can't think like that. But if we take a look there, we can see those models in both of those views. Now, I am actually going to right mouse click to cancel the command and get out of it now. And I want to talk about references, because I got a lot of line work in that plan view, and it's actually the 3D model coming through into my view. And so, if we go back on our ribbon to the Home tab up top, and we click on the Home tab, that's on the top of the ribbon, we're then going to navigate across what we call the group panels, and we'll see there's a section titled Primary, and we're going to return back to that Attached Tools section, and we can just choose that References icon, denoted by the white piece of paper with the cyan paper within it. When I do this, I'm going to expand this dialog a little bit just so you guys can see all those files. I want you to see that London Road, this is slot number 6. If we look at the numbers on the left edge of this dialog, is referencing itself. So it's taking the 2D default view, generating a 3D model through the commands we just gave it, but then wrapping it back around and referencing it back to the plan view. Now, why could that be a good thing? How could that be useful to reference the 3D model to the 2D view? Any ideas? And I'm asking the audience now, so that's a question for you. Why would I want that? Maybe I don't want to draw all the line work for my plan design. Could be a really good reason. Just show the line work that the model's doing. Because you guys have done that before in Geopack days, right? You drew your line work, you had your criteria, somewhere along the lines, wait a minute, that doesn't match that, because they're different files. So if I'm actually taking advantage of the model as being my plan view, well, if it's wrong in the plan view, it's wrong in the model. And I know every time. So just something to consider. So now, what we're going to do, let's go ahead and find that default 3D, that's slot number 6 there. And if you notice, I'm going to turn off the view. There's a couple ways to do it. I could stretch this dialog, make it a little wider. Notice we've got some check boxes down the side, and I want to turn off the display option. So out of all those check boxes on slot number 6, I'm hovering over the one that controls our display. I'm sure many of us are aware. But I'm going to go ahead and toggle that off. So I've unchecked the display. Now, at that point, I'm going to close the reference dialog, and I just want you to see that it essentially removes the 3D model out of the view. Now, there are still some elements, if we look, that are being generated by the quarter model. So in this particular one, they said certain items of the model will be drawn as 2D elements. So the template can do a lot of stuff that traditional drafters were used to doing, right? Offsetting edges of pavement. I mean, I remember, y'all don't do spirals here, right? Yeah, I don't think you do. So just do spirals, and there's nothing worse than doing a spiral curve spiral, and then you've got a